Hello, everybody. Jim Malone here, coming to you live on Dallas Trading Floor. It is Friday, and the market, well, it was kind of stalled. It didn't really do a lot today. Kind of a not a really very exciting day in terms of that. But yeah, let's get into it. I definitely am seeing some friction in the market, and we'll see what happens. I mean, the QQQ, the Qs, retreated a little bit today, and we did get a little bit of sell-off. Now, the major banks are going to start reporting next week. Now, we did get some reports, but it does look like the major banks are going to start reporting next week. Now, J.P. Morgan reported, and it looked pretty good with them. But Bank of America's still down a little bit. So, who knows? I mean, who knows what's going to go on here with the banks. But I do think the banks are weak, even though the money center banks probably will do better than the other ones. So I'm kind of continuing my sort of my thing in gold. I mean, I'm looking at gold mining stocks and thereabouts. But I did do something today on weakness win a stock today. It's called Spirit Aerosystems, and what it is that it's a company that is a subcontractor to it is a subcontractor to Boeing, and they are having some issues regarding regarding this, and they're having some production issues. The stock was off. It was down over 20% today. I shorted it. Now, did I get in right at the top of the short? No, that was about 34. I shorted it at a little over 20, at about, I think, 28.60 or something like that. I have to look exactly back at my records. But in the after hours, it was off pretty significantly, and then it was down 20% today on just a lot of volume. So there's a lot of people that are trying to get out of this stock. We'll see. I've got a stop loss on it if it comes up above 30. So we'll see how it works. But let's take a look at the actual real chart for Spirit, and let's jump on over there to the real chart. There we go. All right. So here we go with the more detailed chart of Spirit Airways. This is where I sold short 28.37. I knew I had that in there. But currently after hours it's 28.22. Now the question is, will it bounce? It probably is going to bounce up a little bit, maybe to about 30 in about 30 or so. That's where I have my stop loss set, and we'll see what happens there. But I definitely think it's probably going to go lower. And looking at this chart here, I think we could see it drop, to about 24.25. And part of the reason, I believe that might be the case is because of where the prior line was. So I definitely think we could come down potentially as far as about 25. And I've drawn a little a red line on the chart. Oops. So we can see it there. Boy, I tell you, there we go. Okay, so let's see if we can get this back. Sometimes I don't know quite why I have problems with hitting cameras here, but this is the $25. I think it could go as low as that based on the fact that we had it before it made its run here. We were at about 24. There is a fair amount of overhead supply on this issue. It does look like there's a fair amount of overhead supply, so we're very, very likely to see it not even come back to the 200-day moving average. That's this black line here. So that's kind of what I'm looking at in terms of in terms of that. So that's kind of the where it's looking on the charts. All right, let's go to some questions. All right, let's go through just a few things that I have here, and this is the only stock that I have currently short, and that is this one here. Let's pull it over there, and that is SPR, Spirit Aerosystems. That's the one I do have short. The volume is up 930% on this, so a lot of volume short on this one. We'll see how it does. Currently 28.21 on this one. So we'll see if it makes any sense going further down. Here's what I have long in the market. So this kind of gives you, kind of a look-see. I have Osaka Gold Royalties. This is an intermediate sized stock in the gold area. It was down a little bit today, 19 cents, down about 1%. Relatively cheap stock, $16.46. ExxonMobil was up today. I started buying it right about 14.50, and we're up to about 115.99. So I do think that we're going to see some strength here. The price of oil did move up today, so Exxon probably will be benefiting in that. On Gold Fields, this is the South African gold miner that trades as a ADR, an American Depository Receipt, in New York. That was down a little bit, 0.37, but it was up in terms of sales. So I definitely think that we have a number of people getting into gold, and that's definitely here. Definitely shown here, but it is a little bit off. My average price on this is about $15. Not a lot of upside right now. LSCC, this is the Lattice Semiconductor. This is the chip stock. Chips are one of the few areas that's doing well in the market overall. LSCC, this is a top-rated chip stock. Currently, it was up at only 8 cents, just almost nothing. But Allegro Microsystems, which is also top-rated in terms of the relative strength, this was up just about 22 cents. Not a lot. Rambus, my other chip stock, it was down, and I don't know what's going on there. I did make a purchase here, a new purchase. This is a really interesting stock. It's called Triple Flag Precious Minerals, TFPM. And I want to jump on over to the chart on TFPM here just to show you kind of, what we're looking at in terms of, in terms of the stock here. This is Triple Flag. It's not been out that long. I did buy it on this gap up from 16. As you can see, there's a gap up, and then we made, and it does look like in the after hours trading, and this is really interesting. As you can see, my buy was basically at 16.87. In the after hours trading, we're up to 17.49. So we're definitely up nicely. Relative strength on this one is 95, so quite strong. Interestingly enough, this is a company that is investing in royalties. This is the way I kind of like to see it in terms of how things are being invested in, is to invest in the royalties themselves. And the reason for that is that they limit the risk of actually doing the development of the mine. They're basically taking royalties as the price of gold is moving higher. So with this one, the last quarter, I don't know if you can see this. Hopefully you can. Let's see if we can drop it down a little bit more. See if I can get it a little bit more. But last quarter, the sales were definitely up and profits were up. Interestingly enough, on this one, it's relatively high price to earnings ratio of about 44, but it is top rated, and we do have a nice relative strength on it. The relative strength of this is 98. So that means that basically this is in the top 2%. Also, if you'll notice, the mining gold and silver gems, this is number 4 out of 197. And we're getting increasing strength in this area. So this is one I definitely like. Now, can you really buy it here? Well, we're a little bit extended. I probably would not. I mean, I can add here, but I don't think it's necessarily the greatest place, unfortunately, unfortunately to buy it. We kind of unfortunately missed that. We missed that we missed that opportunity. Let's see if I can show you. I'm trying to get this so I can. Right. Let's see if we can make it smaller so that I can show you this. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Maybe it'll let me do it this way. All right. Well, maybe it's not letting me do it. Well, anyways, on the technicals, it's a little bit hard to see this on this chart. Let's go back to the daily chart here. Yeah, you can see it a little bit better. But we are getting a little extended there. So probably best if you want to buy this thing, probably wait for a pullback now that it's gone up about 3% in the after hours trading. But I definitely think that this one has a lot of potential. It basically moved out of this base formation at about 1508, and as you can see, it's now up to 1749, basically in about a week. So very nice move in terms of in terms of the numbers there. So that's one that I'm definitely keeping an eye on, and I definitely own it. So we are looking at that one again. All right, let's jump on over to the comments. Thank you very much, Charles. Always enjoy hearing from you. Netflix. Let's look at Netflix to see kind of what's going on there with Netflix and NFLX. I don't currently own Netflix right now, but but it is moved above the 50-day line. Definitely like seeing it there, and it's up after hours. So, this might be, we might be at a place where this would make sense as an acquisition. But let's kind of just analyze it real quick for Netflix. We made the low here 285, and then basically that was back at the beginning, the end of February, beginning of March. We came above the 21-day line, above the 50-day line, above the 10-day line, but it's basically in sort of it's in a handle right now, and that is actually very bullish. So it could move. It could move above this. I want to take a look at the weekly chart to kind of see what the overhead supply situation is on it. This is the overhead supply line here, right here, which is which basically is 18 months. So when we draw the line across here, let's draw the line. Okay, sometimes it works and sometimes not. There you go. So if we draw the line across, we're getting rid of a lot of the overhead supply, which is good. We had this huge drop back in. And now we're starting to make progress. Make progress higher. So I don't know. We could possibly get into this. Let's just see. I want to see if there's anything on the technicals, the 40-week. Okay. Checklist it's good. 67. That's my minimum, but it's still pretty good. In terms of the pattern recognition, we are basically below a cup with handle formation, which is good. We're about 3% below that, and it does. Yeah, that's very bullish. About 350 on that cup with handle formation. So yeah, I mean it's definitely making a move. So. It's definitely making movement. Only thing is, leisure movie. So, yeah, I mean, in terms of everything, I think this is good. I think this is looking very, very constructive. I don't know if I want to put in anything right now, but I think this is viable. I think this is viable based on what I'm seeing here. Seeing a little bit of pullback here, but it's up after hours. So, I don't know. Let's see. Earnings are in 4 days. This is sort of a red flag. Here's what I would do, Charles, on this one. I probably would wait a little bit until we see earnings, see if we get good earnings from Netflix. But if we do, yeah, this is set up very nicely, and it might be an excellent buy. So yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think you picked a winner here. Yeah, definitely. All right, let's look at CRISPR. This is we're getting this from TikTok. Somebody's interested in CRISPR. Let's see if I get the name here. Manas High 40. That's the handle. So CRISPR, CRSP, and this, of course, is the gene editing company, the Swiss gene editing company, CRISPR Therapeutics. And it was up in the after hours action. It's below the 200-day line. That's a little concerning to me. I would like to see a little bit more strength, but the biomedical area 53 out of 197, so it's pretty strong. I'd be a little bit leery though, because the problem with biotechs, I've never been a great trader of biotechs. That's definitely been that's been sort of the theory that I've had. I've never really been great at trading them, just but because a lot of them have very limited amount of they have very limited profitability before they're acquired. So that can be an issue with them. Now, in this one, we did have sales down. We're still basically the cash flow is negative. So this is definitely this is definitely a stock that is speculative, and so that would be a little bit. I would be a little bit careful here. I'm looking at the particulars here. We were down in sales last quarter. Of course, we have no profits, and funds are about 51% of this. So I probably would I would probably wait on this one. And the reason is, of course, is that we have this downward trend as well. As you can see, it's a downward trend. And so it's definitely, I don't think I would be acquiring this one just because of those things. I mean, it probably wouldn't be for me. All right, let's look at Airbnb, ABNB. Quick look at this one. Let's see if I can get a better look-see at it. Let's go over here to the daily chart for Airbnb. And okay, with Airbnb, we had a nice bounce off the 200-day line. I like that. 70 relative strength, so it's 10 less than I normally will. I want to see this. I want to be in the top 80%. So typically, on when I'm looking to buy a stock, I'm looking to buy it with a relative strength of at least 80. This has 70. So let's look at some of the other checklist items that we could possibly look at to see 78. That's just not bad. It's less. It's a little bit more than 15% off of its all-time high. The relative strength. This is one that I definitely watch very carefully. It is off its 80 relative strength, but it looks like it's possibly improving here a little bit. I don't know. The jury is still out on this one. But one thing I do like seeing here on this, on this issue is I do like seeing that we have improving sales and improving profits. So that is very, very good. Also, the PE ratio is pretty darn good at 41, considering this is essentially a growth stock. It got nice cash flow, but overall, as you can see, that we have a downward trend on the we have a downward trend. So I would wait on this one. This is a watch list for me. I would probably not buy this one. I would wait until I'd wait a little bit on this one to see if we could get it to move. It to move a little bit above the 200-day line. So I would watch list. Oops. I'd watch this stock. I'd watch it, but I wouldn't buy it at this point. Just because I just think that it's not ready yet. It's just not strong enough relative to the market, especially in this market right now. We want to be very careful. We want to be buying from the best merchandise we can. Typically, I like to buy in the top 20% of the market. Right now, that's not the case with Airbnb. So I would pass on it, but I like the stock. If it improves over, over another 10%, then I might consider buying it. But right now, I think I've got to say no, just based on that. So that's kind of where I'm at. All right, let's look at Marvell. This is a chip company, and I definitely like chip companies. So let's go over here to Marvell. Let's get it. MRVL. And the chip sector is definitely an area of the market that I am interested in. And I do own, as you know, I own several stocks in that area. $40.29 after hours, it's up. So this is showing some strength. Here's some concerns that I have with it, though. We are below the we are below the 40-week line on the weekly chart, and let's go over the daily chart. Yeah, we're definitely below the 200-day line. This is a little concerning. I like to see that this is a nice little bounce here, but earnings are in 42 days. I just think that there's stronger There's stronger options here, but this is the number one area of the market. So definitely something that, it's looking pretty good. Let's see if we can look at its competition. 4 out of 9. I'm not feeling it with this checklist, unfortunately. Let's see. Let's see if we can. Let's look at some competitors here to it. Let's go over to the weekly chart. Hopefully, we'll get there. There we go. Okay, so now we're going over the weekly chart. And on the weekly chart, we're looking at Allegro Microsystems. This is one of the ones I own. Allegro and LSCC, the two strongest. So, and then Rambus. So basically, these four I like the best. Allegro, LSCC, Impinge, Rambus, and NVIDIA. So I just think you probably have to take a. I think this one is telling us basically to, basically, put it on the watch list. So I think we got to watch list the stock, and yeah, I mean it's a good. It has a lot of potential. It's in a great area, but I think we got to watch list the stock. There's just a lot of stronger stocks in this group. I think you want to buy more strength, and that would be probably to buy like LSCC or Rambus. So those are the ones I think are going to be the strongest. All right, let's do for Rand 0x1. Let's do net. This is ANET. I think this is ANET, right? No, this is not ANET. This is NET. What is this stock? I can't remember. This is Cloudflare. Okay, so Cloudflare, definitely a good internet-based stock. There's no question about it. Let's see if I can get Cloudflare in there so everyone can see it. There we go. All right. So we're on the weekly chart. Let's see if I can go to the daily chart. Kind of look at, just do the smell test on it. Well, we're starting to see a nice move up that 50-day line, so that's looking good. This is forming a cup. The question is, can you get this with what they call a Minervini cheat? Let's put the cheat line here. This is where I would put the cheat line. So it's definitely moved above that. So that's looking pretty good. Mark Minervini, who's a great trader, likes to buy stocks in the as they're coming up the right side of the base, and we definitely have a cup here, and it's coming up the right side of the base. The pivot is right here at 72, so we're at 64. So this is not a bad place possibly to come into the stock. 93 relative strength, so that indeed is very good. We have a strong checklist, 78. Okay, so that's good. Let's look at the 21-day line. We're a little bit extended at 7.97% above that 21-day line. I like to be at 5% or lower, but that in and of itself is not a knockout, considering that it's in an area that is showing nice promise. The computer software enterprise, and the fact is, Cloudflare, it's a good stock. I mean, it's got a good niche in the market. So I definitely like that. Let's take a look at the fundamentals of Cloudflare a little bit and see, if we can find an entry for you, because I think that this is the kind of stock that you're definitely looking at the right thing. We came through some nice earnings. The next earnings are in 13 days, so 2 weeks. So we're still far out enough. Nice increase in terms of the change, about 42% increase quarter over quarter in sales, about 500% in profits. Yeah, this is looking very, very good. The funds are about 61% of the float. Cash flow, we've got positive cash flow, a little bit high on the PE ratio, but in a growth stock, we can sometimes do that if we're showing the right kind of movement in the stock. So I definitely like this a lot. I like the group. What I would do here is I would put in a limit order. I would buy a half position on a limit order, and basically that limit order, let's see. Here's what I would do to buy this stock. I wouldn't buy this at the market. I would buy this at a limit price, and I would try to buy it a little bit closer to the 21-day line, which basically is about 50 would be the ideal. No, 58, I would say, would be probably about the ideal place to buy it. So if we get another pullback on Monday, you might want to set your it would have to move down about 4%, but if it pulls back a little bit on Monday, that may be where you want to buy it. Or alternatively, you could set a limit order at the 50-day line. That's probably your best bet, is to set a limit order at the 50-day line, and that would be at about 59.66 or about $60. That's probably where you want to buy it. But it's a good stock, Cloudflare. It's in a nice it's in a nice pattern. So very, very good stock. And but I wouldn't buy any more than a half position. Of course, a half position is basically what it is that if you take your portfolio, divide it by 8, you're going to get 8 positions. You don't want to buy any more than a 16th of the value of your portfolio. And then you want to put a stop loss 5% below that, or 5 to 7% below that. So that you want to do that. All right, shorts. This is a good question. This is coming from Mr. Charles. I did short today. I shorted Spirit, SPR. And I talked a little bit about this on the show already, but let's jump on over to Spirit Aerosystems. This is where I shorted it. As you can see here, we had a collapse. It basically was going along at about 30, and then boom, it went lower. And in the after hours, it's moving lower still. Part of the problem this is a major subcontractor to Boeing, and and they're a subcontractor on the 737 Max plane that they're making, and they've had all kinds of production problems. And I definitely think we're going to see it move lower. Earnings are out in 19 days. I think that we're going to at least probably we're going to probably go into that, into a loss. Now, here's what I did. I shorted it here, but I'm covering. If I have to cover, it's right at about $30 a share. So this is the short that I'm looking at for that I basically put on for the weekend. So we'll see what happens. I suspect it to move up a little bit on Monday. So that's typically the way it'll happen. And then hopefully it will stay below about 30, and then hopefully that will be good. Hey, question. I'm interested in shorting and longing. That's right. Well, just to kind of give you give you a rundown on that. By the way, if I'm going to try to put out some stuff, some educational stuff on send it out to everybody that's on the list, the list for mail. And basically that's pretty easy. All you have to do is go over to www Dallas Trading Floor, and let's put that up on the screen, and then just sign up for our free action trade alerts. But I try to say every day what I have long, what I have short. As you know, I'm interested right now in being long some of the gold mining stocks, especially the Canadian ones, and I'm interested in being long on some of the chip stocks. Other than that, I'm not really long a whole lot. And then I have one short, which is the Spirit Airways, not Airways, Spirit Manufacturing, manufacturing. So that's what I have currently. All right, let's look at S for Mr. G. All right, look at S here. Okay, S, and that's Sentinel-1. Not a stock that I know a lot about, be honest with you. Let's take a look at it, kind of get an idea kind of what's going on with Sentinel-1. Okay. Well, it's up after hours. It makes a XDR platform to simultaneously prevent okay, so it's a cybersecurity. That's a good area to be in. But I think they're stronger stocks than this. Let's take a look at Sentinel-1 compared. Okay, so the strongest one's Fortinet and OSPN. I'm not familiar with OSPN. Let's look at OSPN, though. Let's see what that is saying to us. Let's see if we've got a one span. This is not a stock I'm familiar with, to be honest. Manages access to information. Okay. Okay, that's very interesting. Off last quarter. You know what? I think that your better bet here in the software space is probably my old friend Fortinet, FTNT. Um, this one, I think, is the one you probably want more than, um, more than the Sentinel One. Let's see if I can get my, if it'll give me back my. There we go. All right. So, okay. It's a little bit slow here. OSPN, there we go, one span. And then I want to look at Fortinet, FTNT on that one. Yeah, this is what I think is a better bet. It's up after hours, a little more expensive, of course. Much better in terms of the cash flow. So instead of Sentinel One, I think that you might want to consider Fortinet. I think this is the one to beat in the cybersecurity. It's got a 100% checklist, so that's where I would go as opposed to that. Can I look up Dish? Okay, somebody's interested in Dish. Let's look at Dish. Okay, this is for TikTok, DISH, and this is Dish Network here. Let's take a look. Not a good chart at all. Dish Network is moving lower, as you can see. So not something you want to see. It's also below the 200-day line. Its sales are going down. Its profits are going up, but not in regular succession. It's got a PE ratio of 2, which means it's making a lot of profit, but its price is very low. I would avoid this one. This one, Dish Network's going to get acquired by somebody. They do have a lot of subscribers. That's a good thing, but overall, this is not a winning stock. So I really just have to say, avoid Dish. This is the stock that was spun off from AT&T. AT&T wasn't able to make money with it either. I think that there's going to be a whole lot of competition coming from. I think there's going to be a whole lot of competition coming from some of the other stocks like T-Mobile in this area with the 5G at-home company. So I think that the problem with Dish Network is, it's kind of like pagers. I think it may be going out. Their technology may have to be repurposed because the coming thing in home internet and cable is the 5G. Is the 5G wireless connections that you can get for your internet. So that's what I think is going to happen. I think Dish is going to suffer, and I think that 5G is going to take over. So I would avoid Dish. I would just avoid Dish. I know it's a cheap stock, and you've heard of it, but it's not a good place to be. I don't think. I don't think it would be, and I don't think it's a good thing to short either. And the reason I don't is because, frankly, so much of the meat is coming off the bone. So I wouldn't do anything with that either. So in general, I think it's just not a winner, and I just would be I would be out of it. This is the chart for Dish, the monthly chart. I mean, there was a time, if we go back far enough, there was a time when it was very worthwhile, but that time has passed. So it really hasn't been. Hasn't been good for quite a long time, and as you can see, it's just going right down into the dump. So, it's basically it went all the way from 60 all the way down. Now, see, here's the thing about stocks. Everybody says buy low, sell high, but the thing is, their stocks can go down and never recover, and that happens a lot. And Dish Network is sort of in that category. So I think you got to be super duper careful. I wouldn't buy it. I just wouldn't be. I wouldn't buy this one. So just yeah, it's just just not the right just not the right thing to do there. I don't think so. Yeah, just not a good buy overall. All right, let's see. I think we're last questions here for everybody. Uh, let's look at yeah, okay. CHTR. That's an interesting one. Let's look at that. CHTR. And thanks if you're watching on Charter. Yeah, okay. Yeah. If you were that's by the way, thanks for jumping over to thanks for jumping over to YouTube, because it's a lot easier to see this on YouTube than it is than it is on TikTok. The screen the screen is a little bit small on TikTok. Now Charter, interesting company. This was at one time this was Paul Allen's company. He was a big investor in this one. I actually owned this years ago. I mean, it's been a long, long time. This one, though, I think I mean, it does have internet capability. It is good in that way, but I'm not convinced on this one. Here's the checklist on it. It's 44%, so not really where I want to be in terms of that. On the technicals, the 21-day line is at 350. That's on the daily chart. So we're right about on that. It's 134 out of 197. I just think that there's better places in the market to be than this one. I would avoid this one too. I would avoid I would avoid this one and Dish. They're kind of both, to me. They're kind of both not that great. So I would avoid both of these. And yeah, I would avoid both of these. So sorry about that. All right. COSY. COSY. All right. Let's probably be the last one, and then show you some of the things that I'm looking at for Monday. COSY. And come on, baby. A little bit of lag. I need a faster internet. COSY. Is that Charter? No, I guess it is. I guess that is Charter. Yeah, I'm not feeling the love there. Oh, wrong stock. Okay, sorry about that. Wrong stock. Which is the right one? Oh, it was CHTR, not Charter. I'm sorry. CHTR, excuse me. Excuse me on that. CTHR. Yeah, interesting. Lab gemstones. Okay, that's interesting. Oh, this is a penny stock. All right. So let's do the penny stock. Yeah, Charles and Covert. This is interesting. Penny stock. Relative strength is 62. I mean, the thing about penny stocks, you can make money in penny stocks, but I typically don't trade them. And the reason I started out that way. I started out trading years ago, 20, 30 years ago. I did trade penny stocks, because obviously, I mean, there's a lot of attraction to them. I mean, they're cheap, and if they double, then they make money. But I just think that there's better ways to make money in this market. Some of them are in stronger areas, like some of the oil stocks are cheap, and some of the mining stocks are cheap. I would not be in this stock just for a lot of reasons. It's just so easy to lose on this. Volatility is very, very high. When a stock is this cheap, all it has to do is go down 5 cents, and you've lost 5%. So it's really, I just think you need to avoid these kind of stocks. I just think you need to avoid it. I mean, I know that a lot of people probably are touting this one. That's true with penny stocks, but I think you got to avoid it. Let's take a look at the weekly chart here. Yeah, it's losing money. Okay, it has no earnings. It has a little bit of cash flow. Yeah, just avoid this one. This is probably not the best of stocks here. So I would avoid this one totally. But thank you for asking. So appreciate it. Watch my show, and I'll probably try to show you some lesser expensive stocks that have some upside potential and are not as dangerous to buy. And stocks like that can be very dangerous to buy. All right. Well, thanks everybody. Thanks for watching the show. So appreciate it. Of course, as always, if you could like the show, that would really help us out. And just go over and smash that like button. So smash the like button, and that really helps us. So so smash on that like button, and we will be back on Monday, and hopefully with some good stuff. If you're not already signed up on Dallas Trading Floor, sign up, because we do send out periodically lists and other free things of stocks that I'm buying, and stocks that you might want for your watch list. So that can be a really good thing. Until Monday, thank you everybody. Thanks for joining the show, and tell all your friends about it, please, and also subscribe to us on YouTube. It really helps. And till then, happy trading.